Well, I wasn't expecting to have the 150R on the bench anytime soon, but at Apex we had a little incident today. Well, I'm kind of happy my toe scraped so I could look down and see all this oil on my boot. And then find out that the valve cover is completely shredded. Awesome. So yeah, that's the damage that I found as I pulled off the track. The valve cover is cracked and there's a nice little hole here that was ventilating a decent amount of oil all over my leg. Luckily, I dragged a toe in a corner and I looked down and I saw that it was completely wet, and then I pulled off the track. Didn't seize at all, so it was still running when I parked it. But let's pop this valve cover and see the damage. All right, I'm expecting a decent amount of glitter. Oh, the decompression spring can't. Okay, let me move this back up. So it looks like what happened is the this bolt backed out and allowed the little decompression arm to swing out, and the centrifugal force, or centripetal, I don't know, somebody correct me, spun this out, and it was smacking the cover there. Make sure it's not broken. It looks like it's okay. The spring may have actually broken. Oh yeah, it looks like the spring wound around itself. Okay, so we're gonna need that. I think we got really lucky with this one. Other than there being probably a decent amount of glitter on the cam chain here and probably in the filter, we'll check that. This was a solid save. If we'd continued to run this, well, we would have run out of oil because it was blowing over my leg. But I imagine that at some point these would have come loose and jammed themselves in all sorts of places. So normally it looks like this, where this cover holds the arm in place and it holds it down and the spring holds it closed. So it must have backed out quite a bit for it to have that this little piece here back out of this hole and have it rotate, because it was down like that. Okay. Again, super happy that we didn't destroy like the cam or the gear or the bolts or any of that. So at least finger tight. I think we lucked out significantly. So that decompression arm definitely did a number on the inside of the valve cover. I mean, it punched a hole through it, but I think I might have caught it before it did too much damage. Hopefully the oil filter caught most of this. All right, let me get the oil out and see if we're super glittery there. I'm so hoping that the oil filter caught it. There is a decent amount of material in the engine oil, so I probably did do a good amount of damage running these through the bearings. But everything I can tell from the valves and everything, they all look good. There's no marring, there's no scoring, no scratches, so yeah, I think we're gonna send it. I'm gonna flush this engine out with some real cheap oil and some brake clean and see if I can get as much of this out as possible. Let's check that filter. That filter's got to be disgusting. I expect this to look like my daughter's arts and crafts station. Just at first glance, it actually doesn't look like it caught. Oh, nope, there it is. It is packed full. Oof. Oh, all right, hold on. Let me dump this out real quick. Might be a little difficult to see, but yeah, them's the sparkles. with some good man glitter in there. I'm really happy that it was in the filter and that it wasn't in here. There's very fine particles in there. These are big chunky boys. And yeah, it's really hard to see on the filter, but they're in every single pleat. Yeesh. And if we take a look in there, you can kind of see it. No, you can't see it, but it's definitely in there. This was inside the filter housing. So we're going to take this cover off. We're going to hose down as much as we can. She's bleeding. Nope. Just rip the gasket. That's cool. I've got others. Oh no. Alright, 1 second. Let me pull this gasket. Oh, okay. This filter caught quite a bit of the large pieces. A lot of the spring is in here. A lot. These look like circlips. That has to be the spring, right? Yeah. It's coils from the spring. Alright, we got coils of the spring and large hunks of aluminum. So I got out as much metal as I could find. I went through, hosed the cam chain, everything in here, the little sump, and then the screen that was here. Not a ton of metal other than what we saw initially on that screen, just some little bits here and there. I haven't seen anything up top. I went ahead and I checked the valves since I'm in here and they're still within spec, which is great. So I'm gonna start slapping this back together. I went ahead and got a new screen just because I could. I was ordering parts anyway, so new screen. So I went ahead and I got another valve cover here, and realistically I probably could have JB welded this, but this looks nicer anyway. I transferred over the baffle, put some red Loctite on these bolts here, and then I put the gasket for the spark plug and then the valve cover gasket here. It's all set, so I think we can just slap this engine back together. I forgot to mention, I'm going to run without the decompression arm. I'm going to see how it is to kick over, and if it's a total nightmare, I can just pull the valve cover off in the bike, I think. I think there's enough clearance there, and sneak it in. Got a nice fresh filter going in here. Valve cover back up. Newton meters, although, you know, hand tight, it's pretty good. All right, the engine's all buttoned up on the bench here. I filled it up with some oil, just some generic Honda oil. I'm going to drain it pretty soon after a few runs just to see if I can get any more metal out of it, and then we'll put the good mow tool in. All right, let's lap this in the bike and see how hard it is to start. Well, it's a good thing that I kicked the bike for 10 minutes before realizing I didn't plug the ignition back in. Now I'm all hot and sweaty. Fun. But it should start now.
Well, that wasn't too hard to start. I'll keep you updated on whether or not I put the decompressor arm back in and if there's any fallout from any of the metal that made it through the engine. Thanks for hanging out with me in the garage. I'll see you on the next one.